In the isolated town of Bleakridge, nestled between dense forests and fog-covered hills, rumors of strange disappearances had long become a part of local lore. However, the residents were used to them, chalking it up to old myths to keep children indoors after dark. But something changed when three strangers appeared in the town. Rachel, a skeptical journalist, visiting Bleakridge to investigate the rumors of the disappearances for an upcoming story. Tom, the town's only police officer, a grizzled man nearing retirement, who doesn't believe in anything supernatural. Sarah, a local woman haunted by her younger brother's disappearance 10 years ago, now considered the town's eccentric due to her obsessive search for answers. The strangers, three silent, unsettling figures who claim to be travelers but seem to have an eerie knowledge of the town's secrets. Rachel arrived in Bleakridge just as the last light of the sun dipped beneath the horizon. She wasn't one to believe in ghost stories, but the disappearances over the years were too many to ignore. Tom, the only cop in town, greeted her at the small, dimly lit diner.
"I'll show you around tomorrow. There's nothing to these stories,"
Tom said with a shrug as they sat at a booth. His eyes darted to the diner's door as three figures entered, dressed in long, old-fashioned coats, their faces hidden in shadow. No one else in the diner seemed to notice them, but Rachel felt the air grow colder. The strangers sat in a booth across the room, their whispers too faint to hear.
"They new here?"
Rachel asked. Tom frowned.
"No idea."
Later that night, Rachel was staying at the local inn when she heard strange noises coming from the hallway. The soft tap of shoes, then the unmistakable sound of something being dragged across the floor. Curious, she opened the door just in time to see a tall, cloaked figure disappear into the shadows of the stairwell. Her heart raced. She thought of waking Tom, but dismissed it. It was probably just another guest. Still, the town's unnerving quiet made every sound seem sharper, more suspicious. The next day, Rachel met Sarah, the woman known for her crazy theories. Sarah's house was covered in maps and photographs, most of the missing people from Bleakridge over the past 50 years.
"They're not gone.
Sarah whispered, her voice trembling.
They're trapped in the forest. I've seen them. My brother is one of them."
Rachel wasn't convinced. But later that evening, as she explored the outskirts of town with Sarah, and then something strange happened. They heard faint voices echoing from the woods. One of the voices sounded like a child crying for help. Sarah's eyes widened.
"That's him. That's my brother."
Against her better judgment, Rachel followed Sarah into the woods. The deeper they went, the more the trees seemed to close in around them, their branches twisting into unnatural shapes. Soon, they found themselves in a small clearing. Standing there were the three strangers from the diner, watching silently. One of them stepped forward, removing his hood to reveal a face that looked wrong. It was human, but the skin was too smooth, the eyes too wide, and the smile too forced.
"You're not supposed to be here,"
the figure said softly, his voice dripping with malice.
"This place is not for the living."
Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet shifted, and the clearing changed. What had been empty space now revealed old gravestones, each marked with the names of those who had disappeared over the years. The other two figures removed their hoods. Their faces were the same, strangely perfect and devoid of emotion.
"They came to us,"
one of the strangers said, pointing to the gravestones.
"and soon so will you."
Before Rachel could react, the forest grew impossibly dark. The air thickened, and whispers filled the space around them. Something was moving in the darkness, too fast to see, but close enough to feel. She grabbed Sarah's arm, pulling her back towards the path, but Sarah wouldn't budge. Her eyes were fixed on the shadows, her face pale.
"Do you see them?"
Sarah asked, her voice distant.
"They're coming for me."
By the time Rachel made it back to town, Sarah was gone. Tom didn't believe a word she said when she tried to explain what happened in the woods. He dismissed it as hysteria or Sarah playing tricks on her. That night, as Rachel prepared to leave Bleakridge, she saw them again, the three strangers. They were standing outside her window, still as statues, watching her. Suddenly, her phone buzzed.
You're next.